family had private ownership of the oil, and it must never fall into the hands of the parties of God or any other of our enemies. That seems to me obvious. And if people say no blood for oil, moronic thing to say. It's like saying freedom isn't worth fighting for. It's like saying your own interests aren't worth defending. Give up this quasi-religious mentality if you can, while you have time. A fight is actually on in this area, which we dare not lose. We have some brilliant allies there, the secular Kurds, for example, who I don't think anyone in this room would dare say to my face we should betray or abandon, though I know most of you are thinking of voting for candidates who would walk away and let them all be killed again without compunction. Well, tell it to me. Look in my eye and say you're willing to do that. The only secular part of the country, the big success that we've created, prosperity, new oil fields, an election, no mullahs, an example that could spread to the rest of Iraq. Tell me that you care so much about your own convictions that you're willing to abandon those people. Now would be the chance.
So my question is, you suggest that we should fight Islam. We should try and limit fundamentalist Islam. That's a serious problem that we have to take.
Actually, that's not what I say.
Huh?
That's not what I say.
Oh, I must have
I say we are fighting it.
Oh, okay. That's well.
It is fighting us.
But so my question is how exactly does bombing and killing Muslims lessen their numbers or limit their fervor?
I'm just wondering if I should draw you a picture. You mean, how does killing them lessen their number? Your question cannot possibly be as sappy as it sounds. You must have meant something more intelligent than that.
Well, my idea is, you must have come across this.
The numbers of those bombed will decline.
Oh yes, but that encourages others.
Ah, you're so sure?
Yes.
Yes, well I remember being told after 9/11, if we destroy Osama bin Laden, hundreds will spring up in his place. Some of you may have said that. Hope not. You all heard it. Well, in that case, we would find a quick way of surrendering, hadn't we? Had we better not? I mean, there's no point in resisting in that case, because the more we beat them, the more strong they'll get. It's like the Greek myth of Antaeus. Every time thrown to the ground, he drew strength from the soil. Unbeatable. If you think that, by all means think it. But I don't know what you're doing at a conference that wants to defend atheism against religious barbarism. How do I envision victory? Someone asks from the floor. I'll tell you how I'd know it was possible. It would come like this: when the side of jihad said, "Can we take these casualties any longer?" When they worried, have we alienated the people, as they are worrying now in Iraq? Have we turned everyone off by our tactics? Have we lost friends? Has our reputation gone down? When they ask this, when they say, have we disgraced and discredited ourselves by rape and by video torture and by the killing of other Muslims, they're the ones who are killing Muslims. They're the ones who are blowing up the mosques, not me, not us. They do it and boast of it. For the mutilation of women, for the throwing of acid in the faces of girls, for the car bombing of girls' schools. I wonder if we've made a mistake by doing this. That's what I want to hear them say. And also, can we take it any longer? The Marines come for us by day or night. They shoot us like rats. We bring in volunteers, none of them ever come back. None of them ever go home. They're all killed in Iraq. It's a killing field for us. We shove people by the hundreds over the border in open order from Pakistan into Afghanistan. They're all killed. When do we have to ask ourselves, is God really on our side? That's the point we have to get to. Instead, the sickly, petty masochism of American public opinion saying, shouldn't we hold the flag to half-staff every time one of us gets killed? Shouldn't we be the ones in doubt that we're fighting a just war? Shouldn't we be the ones who are worrying that we have a right on our side? No, no, no. Enough of that. Make them worry. We can get to that point because they are, don't forget, they are suicidal. They are irrational. They operate on a crazy worldview. They will get to the stage where they've realized they've made a mistake. All the evidence is in Iraq already that Al-Qaeda in Iraq has totally isolated and discredited itself, and it's a matter now just of hunting down and killing them, which I think is a pleasure as well as a duty.
Can we do two more questions?
Mr. Hitchens,
Sir.
that was a curious interruption there. I'm not sure what that was. I address you as an atheist and a secularist and a Marxist. I'm very much troubled by your remarks about the need to stand up and fight this Muslim jihad. I have no time for oppressive religion of any stripe, but I think you are well aware of the long history of crimes committed by the British government in Iraq, the United States government in Vietnam, and today in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I'm wondering how you can possibly say that it is Western civilization, the civilization of the colonizers and the oppressors, who do it all, of course, in the name of liberation and democracy, how this is not the fundamental problem, rather than what you call the jihad of what I consider to be the response to the crimes of U.S. and European imperialism.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. You see how far the termites have spread and how long and well they've dined. When someone can get up and say that in a meeting of unbelievers, that the problem is Western civilization, not the Islamic threat to it. That's how far the termites have got. Now, as a matter of fact, sir, I could have asked that question 50 times better than you did and answered it 50 times as comprehensively. If you like, I can, without conceit, refer you to a biography of mine of Henry Kissinger. That is a compendium and anthology of the war crimes committed by the United States and its allies in the Third World and elsewhere, and a call for those people, those responsible, to be arraigned for crimes against humanity and war crimes. It's a cheap paperback published by the New Left Review that anyone can get hold of, and I can't recommend too highly. One of those crimes, I'll just give you an example to show how utterly fatuous your implication is. One of those crimes was the arming and training of the Indonesian armed forces to take over the Republic of East Timor. Some of you are no doubt aware of this terrible atrocity. It's one of Noam Chomsky's best campaigns in writing, leading to the very near physical extirpation of the people of East Timor. A genocide more comprehensive than Cambodia, taking place a little afterwards, with our weapons, with our diplomatic protection, and with the endorsement of Kissinger and Ford. Hands up those who roughly remember this. Okay, not as good as I'd have liked, but still, and sad, but bear it in mind and look it up. Now, what are some of the items of the Al-Qaeda bin Laden manifesto? Well, oddly enough, and this was to my surprise, I thought it would be lower down. Item 3 in the charge against the West is that it reversed course on East Timor, tried to undo the genocide, brought East Timor to a referendum on independence, sent Jose Vieira de Mello, one of the greatest, Sergio Vieira de Mello, one of the greatest UN civil servants, to East Timor to supervise the transition to independence and the election, and made East Timor the newest member of the UN. Bin Laden says, "For this we will never forgive the Christian Crusaders and their imperialist friends. They took away a republic from a Muslim land, Indonesia." Most of the people of East Timor, by the way, are Christian and speak Portuguese. A detail. For this, we will never forgive them. For this, that was the reason they gave for blowing up the UN office in Iraq, because that's where Melio was sent next, with a truck bomb of explosives so enormous that it must have been borrowed from the former Iraqi army and Ba'ath Party. That's the reason they gave for blowing up the Australian tourists in Bali, in Indonesia, and the Indonesian taxi drivers who were servicing that resort, because they couldn't forgive the West for its behavior in East Timor. In other words, if you want to avoid upsetting these people, you have to let Indonesia commit genocide in East Timor. Otherwise, they'll be upset with you. You'll have made an enemy. If you tell them they can't throw acid in the faces of unveiled women in Karachi, they will be annoyed with you. If you say, we insist, we think that cartoonists in Copenhagen can print satire on the Prophet Muhammad, you've just made an enemy. You've brought it on. You're encouraging it to happen. So unless you're willing to commit suicide for yourself and for this culture, get used to the compromises you'll have to make and the eventual capitulation that will come to you. But bloody well don't do that in my name, because I'm not doing it. You surrender in your own name, leave me out of it. I'm going to fight these people and every other theocrat all the way. All the way. For free expression, for women's rights, for self-determination of small peoples, for the right of Iraqis to federate and have their own show, for the right of the Lebanese not to be bullied by Hezbollah and to have a multicultural democracy. Yes, I'll fight for this, and I think that the 82nd Airborne is brave to be fighting for it too. And I think you should be ashamed sneering at people who guard you while you sleep. Thanks.